Hello parents, hello everybody. So today we are at Sri Sri Academy and I'm here to give you our review of Sri Sri Academy. So this is a CBSE school from pre-primary to grade 5. They are located in Yelahanka. Before we go ahead with our review video, have a look at the stats. Alright, so let's talk about what type of school is Sri Sri Academy. Alright, so in our categorization, we categorize Sri Sri Academy as mainstream and niche school. Right? Alright, why mainstream? Why niche? Let's start with niche. This school has that one extra touch. That's the USP of the school, which is its inclination towards Indian culture and spirituality. The kind of small ways the school adds a lot of spirituality, mindfulness and meditation into daily practices of the kids here at the school, and I really think that that's a unique factor for the school, though it's not a very niche school that only categorizes into being a spiritual school or like Gurukul school or something like that. This has that touch of being niche, which is why it's in the niche category. Now, why mainstream? Because this school is your regular school, which categorizes in our category as mainstream because it ticks all the boxes that you need, whether you want sports, academics, extracurricular, whether you have activities, experiential learning, they have it all. So anything that a regular school would give you, it ticks all the boxes, and the kind of infrastructure that is planned for SSA also kind of puts it in a very good international infrastructure kind of a category. So we want to keep it as mainstream schools. Let's talk about fees. Alright, in our category, we'd like to categorize Sri Sri Academy into value for money category. Now, when it comes to their fees, the amount that they're charging is less than 1 lakh. Alright, which is somewhere around 80 to 1 lakh when I was talking to the management today, and the kind of value that they're giving for you. Alright, now let's talk about it. Number one, when it comes to the facilities and infrastructure, I had a look at the proposed plan of the school, considering this is a new school, right? So when I looked at the proposed plan, it looks fantastic. In fact, it's much more than a regular school in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of the green space that they have. Really good. Secondly, I think in terms of Sri Sri, Vidya Mandir's, the legacy. They have more than 120 schools. So, that legacy that you're going to be a part of. Third, I think that amazing thing of Indian culture that's going to be there. And most importantly, because this is a new school, they have scholarships going on for the very first year, because I think from the second year onwards, we know the reputation of Sri Sri schools that they don't even have a single admission available. So I think for the kind of fees that you're paying for, if you're an early bird, I think this is totally a value for money school for you. Alright, so I was talking to the management today and I was very interested to know what is the goal of the school, because a lot of things are going on in the school. There's legacy, there's Sri Sri's, Sri Sri Guruji's, thoughts, and like his way of, his guidance and his way of education. So I wanted to know what is the goal of the school. Alright, and from what I was told, I was really interested to know that they are actually aiming at developing leaders with human values, with human values through their the culture, through the everyday operation of the school. And I also went into details. So they're going to do that in two ways. One is through spiritual practices. Now, you must have already known that every single Sri Sri school has a flagship thing, which is Sudarshana Kriya. It's this breathing technique that is so effective and impactful. It reduces stress and it immensely impacts focus when it comes to when it comes to any education or academics part. So they do that 20 minutes for every single day, right? So that's number one. They have yoga and meditation as well as part of their spiritual practices, and all of this is in the curriculum. So if there's 8 period, there's 1 period dedicated for breathing activity and for mindfulness. Secondly, I think they have value based education. Usually we have this value education class, which none of us are really interested into, but they have an interesting way. So what they do is, in every single subject, maths, may it be science, social studies, whichever subject, they actually have a value based learning, meaning you have, maybe you're doing factors, you're doing multiplication, whatever you're learning for primary kids or even for high schools, they're looking at, getting one life lesson or one simple learning out of any single topic that they do, and this is part of their lesson plan. So I think having value based learning and spiritual practices, totally, they're trying to build leaders with human values. So that's something I really loved about this school. Alright, so now we have to talk about the USPs of the school. See, I think I've said it enough now, but I'm still going to say it, that let's talk about the 3 USPs. So USP number one definitely has to be their flagship Sudarshana Kriya. I think this is something that Sri Guruji has really given every single kid, like an astra, which they can really use to calm themselves down, and on an everyday practice, I think it kind of gets imbibed into who they are. So I think the first one is the spiritual practices that they follow in the school. Indian culture and spiritual practices takes number one. Number 2 USP definitely has to be the value based learning, because I haven't really heard of a lesson plan where at the end of every single topic that they teach, they talk about what is the life lesson that they learn from that, and not in a very preaching way, in a way that you can actually understand. And that's so cool, right? I mean, to learn something like that, not really being it being a subject and you just learning it when you're learning maths or when you're learning science or social is simply amazing, or even languages. Number 3 is experiential learning. Just like any other mainstream schools, they also have experiential based learning. Their idea is that when you learn something, when you're hands on, you understand it better, and when you understand, you love it. So maybe science or social where you can get to play characters and understand the subject that way, or maybe science with small class experiments and things like that. They really make this experiential learning very, very effective. So these are my top 3 USPs of this school. Alright, let's talk about culture now. I know I've said it enough, but you know what? Culture and tradition, I think, are 2 things that India is super proud about, right? And especially after Ayodhya Ram Mandir, I think every Indian has that deep-rooted feeling that that culture has to be a part of them, and traditions are something that takes them long distance. So that's what takes you the long way. So I think this school's basic culture has been to imbibe deeply deeply kind of imbibe culture and tradition in every single kid. Mind you, again, this is not to do with any community, though I mentioned Ram Mandir. This is not to do with any community. I think their idea is to have spiritual practices, not really any community driven, but it's very, very spiritual, yoga, mindfulness, meditation oriented. So it's a pretty niche school that way. Let's talk about positives of Sri Academy. Now, see, the first positive that I have is that this school definitely is a proven success. Now, if a brand runs 120 schools with the legacy of Sri Ravi Shankar Guruji, I think it's a given that, you know, if you put your kid into this school, it's definitely going to be short success, because you already have 120 schools with, you know, so many success stories, so many alumni, so many people. And then the basic thing is, it's the same rules, same culture, same things that are taught in every single school. Yeah, you might have a little bit of difference in how the school looks like or who is running the school, but everything other than that in the school, the way it functions, is going to be the same. So my first positive definitely has to be that the legacy and the success rules this school. Now, positive number 2, I know I've been saying this on and on, I think it's about the deep rooted culture and tradition. So if you want your kid to, you know, in this modern day, if you want your kid to have that one extra plus of, you know, tradition and culture, Indian tradition, to be, you know, deep rooted by the time, you know, he finishes 10 years at school. So I think you should definitely pick this school. Alright, let's talk about negatives. Now, I visited the school today, and I also spoke to the management. I tried and understand, I tried and understood, you know, what the school actually has and what could be the positive and the negatives of the school, and possible negatives that, you know, you guys could also feel like. Now, number 1. This is a common review that I saw across all the channels, all the, you know, parents who had reviewed about other Shri schools, and I wanted to ask the management about this. So that was number 1, that the one that I was telling you about, Kriyas, right? So there were many reviews that talked about the school actually doing, you know, too much of Kriyas as compared to studies. So that's what I was asking the school, you know, they said there's an overdosage of that now. So when I was talking to the school today in the morning, they told me that they have 8 periods, like I already told you, they have 8 periods in a day, and only 1 period is dedicated to these breathing activities. It's not an everyday, it's not like an every period thing that these people do. Yes, they do it every single day, but it's for 20 minutes only. It's not even a period, it's just for 20 minutes. And I think every single school has a different time slot that they do it in a particular day. Sometimes some of them do it in the morning, some of them just before the lunch break, etc. So they choose a timing, and the entire class does it together, and I really think it's a very beneficial thing, though maybe some people might be a little you know, unhappy with it, but I really think it's a very beneficial point. Number 2 is definitely that the school is not ready. This is a new school that's coming up in Yelahanka, and the proposed plan is to keep the school ready by June. So whenever you come and visit the school, you can actually see the progress of the school, and you can also see it on this channel. We are going to be putting up the progress of the school, you know, throughout these 4 months on our blog, so that, you know, you're well aware of how the school is progressing. And what I can see in the school is already that the school is progressed much towards, you know, the finishing point, that is June. So you can be sure by June, but guys, I'm telling you, if you're going to wait until June for admissions to come and see, acha, this is the school, just to be sure of it, if you're going to wait until June, we know how these brands are, Shri school brands, like the one again in Vidyaranyapura and other branches, they do not have admission, guys. So if you're going to wait until the last moment, you might not stand a chance for admissions. I don't have anything in this, but this is the truth with the brand. The legacy continues, so they have a lot of demand, especially after the Ayodhya Mandir. I think a lot of people, you know, realize that they want to go back to Indian traditions and values, and because of that, I think there's a lot of influx of parents coming in. I think even for this school, we've seen a lot of parents coming in for enquiries. So just be sure that you go visit the school, you come here, visit the school, and you see it for yourself. You know, get that trust, and then, you know, you make your call. Alright, let's talk about competitors. See, I was trying to find competitors that are close enough a match for Shri Academy. So the first one, in 2 kilometers radius, I found 2 good competitors. Number 1 is Vishwa Vidyapeeth, which is again in just 2 kilometers radius from here. They also have a very Indian deep-rooted culture based education, so it's very similar to Shri Shri Academy, though definitely I think it doesn't have the legacy as this with 120 schools. They also have their fees structure about 20 to 25% more than Shri Shri Academy, because this is totally in the value for money category. I think they're slightly more expensive than this school. When it comes to the second competitor, I think it's Orchids. Though they are in the complete new age category, and they have all modern international facilities and things like that. It's in the 2 kilometer radius, and of course it's an expensive school as compared to this. They're at least 30 to 35% more when it comes to the fees. So I think in this category, in this fees category, value category, I think Shri Shri Academy totally stands out in this particular area. That is a new one that's coming up. Okay, it's verdict time. Well, see, when it comes to Candid schools, I think we've always believed in one thing, that every kid has a best fit school. Every kid has that option to choose what they truly deserve, and which is why we have our quadrants. We have mainstream, niche school, new age school, etc., wherein you can choose what really you want to give your child, what kind of education, what kind of learning, what kind of values that you really want to give your child, and based on that you choose whether this school is a good fit school for your kid. And if Shri Shri Academy ticks all the boxes that you really want for your kid, then we really think that this is a very good school for your kid, especially in this modern age. If you can give that little bit of sanskar, that little bit of culture and tradition to your kid, I think your kid will go a long way. Yes, there are some negatives, most importantly that the school is not ready, which is why you can come visit the campus and you can actually see, talk to the people and understand what all is in what all they have as plans, when will it be ready. Though it will be ready by June, you can see the progress in terms of how it's progressing towards completion, and you can actually imagine and see how the school will look like. So I really think that they are not deal breakers for you. This is not something that you simply cannot imagine, because there are 120 other schools that are running like this. Also, as I said, please do not wait until June to come and at least inquire about the school. I would urge you to come visit the school, just get an idea about what it is. See, we've also tried and put up all the information that you can on this blog. So I hope this really helps, and I hope you make the best pick for your kid. Thank you so much.